on Empowerment Hour every week live on Facebook and YouTube. A time of interactive interviews on diverse topics that inspire and empower. We bring the most knowledgeable and dynamic guests from across the globe. Subject matter experts who leave you fascinated by their depth of knowledge. Now, there's never a dull moment with your dynamic host, Reverend Gilbert Samba, a professional journalist, a passionate preacher, an inspirational author, an exquisite orator, and a master of the craft. With thousands of followers and diverse topics, Empowerment Hour is the one-stop shop for answers to all your questions. On Empowerment Hour, we answer in the light questions that are asked in the dark. We bring to you inspirations that brings transformation. We are live every week on Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Facebook at Reverend Gilbert Samba and Empowerment Gospel Outreach. Find us on YouTube at an Empowerment Gospel TV. Empowerment Hour, everyone is welcome. We are live every week on Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Facebook at Reverend Gilbert Samba and Empowerment Gospel Outreach. Find us on YouTube at Empowerment Gospel TV, Empowerment Hour. Join us on Empowerment Hour every week live on Facebook and YouTube. A time of interactive interviews on diverse topics that inspire and empower. We bring the most knowledgeable and dynamic guests from across the globe. Subject matter experts who leave you fascinated by their depth of knowledge. Now, there's never a dull moment with your dynamic host, Reverend Gilbert Samba, a professional journalist, a passionate preacher, an inspirational author, an exquisite orator, and a master of the craft. With thousands of followers and diverse topics, Empowerment Hour is the one-stop shop for answers to all your questions. On Empowerment Hour, we answer in the light questions that are asked in the dark. We bring to you inspirations that brings transformation. We are live every week on Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Facebook at Reverend Gilbert Samba and Empowerment Gospel Outreach. Find us on YouTube at an Empowerment Gospel TV. Empowerment Hour, everyone is welcome. Live every week on Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Facebook at Reverend Gilbert Samba and Empowerment Gospel Outreach. Find us on YouTube at Empowerment Gospel TV, Empowerment Hour.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another great day. We are live. Good to know you all are out there joining us. It's going to be another great time, another great session for us to talk tonight. And we have a very, very interesting topic of conversation. And you already know it's going to be another great Monday. Every time we come around here, we always have something new to learn. And I am excited tonight with the guests that we have. I see all those signals and people just jumping in. Great, great, great. We are ready for a good time tonight talking about mentorship and everything that has to do with knowing who is the right mentor and everything around there. Guys, you got to send this out. Send it out to as many people as you can because it's going to be a blessing to everyone who joins tonight. Yeah, the hearts are pouring in, the likes and everything is just pouring in. We are gonna have a really, really great time. And I want to give a shout out to all the new people who are joining this page. It's been just incredible what's been happening the last 2 months. November, December, we've gained over 3,000 followers. You know, it's just amazing. And from all around the world, we want to say thank you all that are joining. And if you're one of those new followers, thank you for joining this page. You're going to be blessed and you're going to grow in anything you're learning from this page. Is going to take you a step further. Thank you all. If you say hello to us, I will be sure to recognize you and shout out to you from whatever part of the world you're watching from. So I see a bunch of people watching, but I cannot recognize or tell where you're watching from unless you put a comment and say hello to us. And of course, all right, we have one anointed innocent. Thank you. All right, I can't sleep somewhere there, whoever that is. We are going to look into that, some issues there. Okay, all right. We will talk to that person at some point later. We got some people coming in. All right, great. Let's get on along, everyone that is coming in. And our guest is already in the house. Let's make welcome our guest for today. It is no other person than Minister Tabe Chillion. Welcome on board, man of God.
Thank you very much, Evangelist Gilbert Samba. It's a pleasure to be here on this honorable platform that you've been running. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. It's an honor to have you join us today as well. You know, I've been looking forward to this day, and God has made it possible for us to be together. So it is quite amazing as we just looking forward to a great time, a great conversation tonight. Uh, as we are in at this early stage, I want to really just throw out some time to you by saying, hey, tell us a little bit about who you are, your person, what you do for the Lord, family, or anything. Just get to tell us a little bit about who you are for those who may be watching for the first time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So, yeah, I am Brother Chillion. I go by that title, but some people call me Pastor, but I like to refer to myself as Brother Chillion. You're talking to someone who gave his life to Christ, as early as when I was 13 years old in a boarding school.
Mm,
Yes, as boy, under the ministry of the now Reverend Dr. Sean Richard Smith in Douala.
okay.
Time he was the senior prefect of the school, and
Oh,
he
wow.
got born again, and he was just sharing the faith in the school. And I was never preached to, but I just watched the life of one of those who had been evangelized by him, and that's how I became born again, grew closer, and I got born again that early when I was from 3. Then as time went on, like a young teenager, I fought it away and enjoyed some what I would say life, my own perspective. Then finally got my foot back under the full gospel ministry, full gospel mission, which is what laid my foundation and grew me to where I am. Um, for the longest, I've served as a worship minister. That's where I been known quite a bit, but even prior to that, I've served a lot in many capacities. By the grace of God, I was able to do a 1 year program at Christ for the Nations in Dallas, Texas, where I have a diploma in worship. That's where the time
Mm,
Pastor Chillion began. Right.
okay.
And
I
I left
see.
Christ for the Nations.
I
They say, okay, now
see.
let's call him Pastor Chillion. But I like to be called Brother Chillion. I've served, in many different churches. Served in the Cameroon church for 4.5 years, or just levels. I've been in American church for 9 years. And then, but right now I serve with Streams of Joy in Dallas, Texas.
Amen.
Plano. That's where I currently serve. I'm married.
Okay.
With 3 kids. And for profession, I am an IT engineer. Currently, right now, I work as a solutions executive. So what I do is have conversations with companies that are trying to do some IT work for themselves. Get
Mm-hmm.
that work with a sales team. We get to win the deal. I don't get to do the work, but we get to win the deal and get some technical folks to go do the work. I used to be technical, but right now that's where I've been able to grow my career to. So that's a bit about me, Chillion.
Oh wow, wonderful, great, great insight, man of God. And I've known you for a long time. One thing I really admire about you is your dedication and your commitment to the things of the Lord, and it's really amazing, really amazing. Consistency is one key thing, and I think I've seen that consistency with you for a long, long time here. It's a blessing to see that, and people are, especially in the West, people are not very consistent with the things of the Lord. They are here and there and everywhere, but consistency is a key element which I have found with you, and I bless God for that consistency in the faith. And today we are looking at talking on mentorship and how to find the right mentor, all of that. Please just go ahead, start by telling us, in your own words or in simple words, as simple as we can tonight. What
Yeah.
is mentorship? You make us understand mentorship before we go deeper into all
Okay.
the other parts of it.
Yeah, mentorship is a very important topic, and I think almost everybody on this call has been mentored at some point or mentored someone indirectly or directly. But what mentorship really is, it's a relationship like every other relationship. It's a relationship between two parties. One is called a mentor, the other one is called a mentee. But it's a relationship that has a specific purpose, right? Just like any relationship, mentorship has a specific purpose. So there are two main things about mentorship. Number one is a relationship, and it has a purpose. On a
Mm,
relationship perspective, there are two kinds of mentorship that I know of. There is formal mentorship where you enroll in a mentorship program. You pay someone to mentor you. Sometimes it could be in business. You're trying to get into real estate, and then you pay for a mentorship program in the direction, right? But something formal. It might be you want to be coached. Maybe you are a man of God, right? But you just want to not get the book work you learned from the seminary, but have someone coach you. And sometimes people put a price tag on it just so you can be serious. So it can be a paid form of mentorship. And there's also informal mentorship, which is what is most common, right? In which case, there's a relationship between the two persons, and there's just some informal, guidance at that.
mhm.
That can be a close range mentorship, and it can also be a distant mentorship. But the most important thing is that you guys have a healthy communication. Like as I've been following your program a lot, Evangelist Gilbert, and I know one of your mentors is PGL.
Yes, yes, PGA,
Right.
Pastor Godlove, yes.
Yeah, you got distant, but then right, there's always that avenue where he pours into you and holds you accountable and stuff like that. So that's what I'd say mentorship is, relationship for a particular goal.
Wow, relationship. Wow, that is powerful. That's some great words there that I've really written down and really underlined. Relationship with a specific purpose, and then you said it could be formal and it could also be informal. That's a great, great intro into this topic and a great startup right there, right from this beginning. This at this point, you said is for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
The reason for mentorship, it has a specific purpose. The next thing I really want to find out from you: does everyone, need a mentor? This aspect of mentorship, is it something that we need it from everyone, or in everyone here? I'm talking about both secular and spiritual, or believers. A lot of times we narrow our things only to spiritual things, like you talked about. You could be a pastor or something. You need someone to mentor you. Or is mentorship limited just to spiritual things, and or mentorship cuts across different areas of life, and does everyone need a mentor? So it's kind of two questions there. Could it be only for spiritual needs, or it could be also for social needs and other secular needs, and then is it for everyone?
Yeah, so mentorship is not a strictly spiritual or Christian concept. It's a
Okay.
concept that cuts across, different aspects of life. So it's not limited to just a Christian direction, and it's not necessarily supposed to be a spiritual activity.
Okay.
Mentorship is mainly geared towards building skill or you being coached or developed in a particular area of life. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are aspiring to be a pastor or you're aspiring to be a minister or something in the church. No, it gets across all aspects of life. I was listening to someone, a lady from Vietnam, and who said when she came to America and she had experience, she kept living paycheck to paycheck, and she said she's gonna stop this. And when she went to, she didn't just know how to navigate America, and so she had to like look for coaches all through her life. She had a coach while she was in college, someone who could direct her left and right on what to do. After she left college to go into corporate America, she needed a coach in that aspect of her life. And all through the journey, she has had a coach. I've listened to other people who said when they got married as a lady or as a husband, they had a lot of challenges on just trying to understand this other human being you're living with, right? And so you need a mentor in that aspect of your life, right? So mentorship is not limited to the spiritual. And to say, does everyone need a mentor? I would say yes. But does it mean you're absolutely going to fail in life because you don't have a mentor? I would say no. But every one of us, we need a mentor in life, in different phases of your life. I listened to one time and he said, the way life is, each time we get into a phase of life, we get to that phase of life with no working experience. The first time you became a teenager, you had never been a teenager before. You're making mistakes. By the time you figure out how to be a teenager, you're a young adult. You get young adulthood, you've never been a young adult before. If you don't have a mentor, you make all the mistakes. By the time you figure out how to be a young adult, you're married. And you've never been married before. Or you figured it out, you have kids. So it's not necessarily spiritual. I think everybody in this life, just to be a good human being, you need a mentor.
Hmm. Wow, so true. That is really intriguing right there. That God, I see. Yeah, Ben's Benito says true there. True, Sir Tabe. That's so true. Absolutely, what you're saying there really. You come to think of it, you've never been that thing before, and yeah, by the time you figure it out, you're already moving into the next phase, and then you have to learn all over again.
Yeah, and
That's
we always think about mentorship from more from the perspective that I have a goal to achieve. Like, no, not for I know you still use the word like something big goal to achieve. I want to be this entrepreneur. I want to be this pastor. Um, I want to get into the real estate market. Yes, we need mentors for that. But equally,
yeah.
you can have a life mentor. We need mentor for the basic things in life as well. So
As I listen through there, some tickling questions come up in my mind. You talk about someone may, let's just say, for example, you're in business and then you have something, you need someone that helps you, coach you around there. Then you talk about being married and stuff. Does that sound like one person could have multiple mentors? Is that a possibility?
yes, and yes, where I'm going to put it. Let me use this context because I'm speaking to an evangelical and a Pentecostal audience more. Let me use this context. You can be called to be a pastor. Okay, now again, I've been in the African church and I've been in an American church for 9 years. So there's some things I've seen on the both sides, pros and cons on the both sides. Now, most of the American churches, they refer to us African churches, they will work with as Pentecostal churches. They refer to themselves as evangelical churches. And when I looked at the difference, the evangelical church emphasizes more on scripture, the word. A Pentecostal church emphasizes heavily on the Holy Spirit, right? And we believe in miracles, laying of hands, and all of that fun stuff. Now, you can be a Pentecostal pastor. You can be a pastor from the Pentecostal origin, for lack of better words, right? Let me use that word.
Mhm.
And you are the one who has the prophetic in your life or whatever you believe in, laying hands and doing all of that fun stuff. You don't have to let go of your Pentecostal DNA, but you can have a mentor in the Pentecostal direction who teaches you what are the ethics of maybe running a healing crusade, miracle crusades. What are some ethics? What are some do's and don'ts? How do you make it successful? And you look for somebody who is ahead of you in that, and the person is mentoring you in that. And still in the area of ministry, you can have a mentor from an evangelical church, maybe from an American church. One thing they are good at, they are very good at church growth, they are very good at Christian care, and they're very good at administration. That's
Mm.
why that's where what we are not good in, right? That's why
Yes,
even without healing the sick, raising the dead, people falling left and right, they still go churches of thousands of people.
that's
So you,
right.
as a Pentecostal pastor, could have a pastor in that area who funds on the spirit and ethics on how you do these things, but still submit yourself also as have another mentor in an evangelical church, strictly to learn how to do church good. How do I Christian care? How do I administer a church? Like the church we're worshiping before, Lake Point, so many different branches. I'm like, this show takes beyond just laying of hands or being anointed. There's a stronghold that administration also has to do with all of this. So you can have more than one mentor, even in the same calling
In the same.
or in the
Wow.
same track of life.
Yes, yes. Wonderful. Great, great. Powerful. Thank you so much for laying that out there, man of God. That's a great one inside there.
Let me add one thing, and even outside of the same aspect of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have people I refer to as my mentors from a business perspective. It's a business I'm engaged in. And I have someone that is mentoring me in it. I have someone that is mentoring me from the perspective of my calling, what I want to do for ministry. I have someone also mentoring me to be a great husband and to be a great father, right?
Mm,
So multiple mentors. You don't have to have one mentor for everything.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Powerful, powerful, great insight there. Sounds there like already some benefits of mentorship. I want to give you a few more moments to just tell us, what someone could be losing if they are not, having a mentor. What are some benefits of mentorship? How much of a difference can that make to you as an individual, to a person, if you have someone helping you as a mentor in life?
I think there are lots of benefits in that. The number one benefit is you have someone who can hold you accountable.
Okay.
Sometimes when you don't have a mentor, you pick and drop your vision at any time. You are on it today, you are not already on it tomorrow. You just live your life anyhow. You operate anyhow. But if you have a mentor and you have that established relationship with that person, and this person knows I'm your mentor, that person can hold you accountable. Right. Like I have an informal mentor. I mean, and maybe we'll talk about that more. But like there are times when Dr. Madison will call me, Chillion, what's going on? What about this? What about that? What about that? Right? So he's holding me accountable. And it doesn't always have to be somebody up above you. You yourself, evangelist, you are also an informal mentor to me. There was one time you called me. I haven't heard you in a while. Like,
Mm,
and still mentor each other. Right?
mm-hmm,
So I say that to say number one, when there's a mentorship relationship, especially when it's somebody you're looking up to that you're holding high esteem,
mm-hmm.
there's accountability. The person, you have someone to hold you accountable, to help to keep you
Mm,
and to make sure that you are on that track and you're going. It also helps to give someone who can look to give you someone who can look at you in your face and tell you when you're getting it wrong, who can be honest with you, which is not going to flatter you and tell you you're missing the mark. So that's another huge advantage of having a mentor. Also, another thing of having a mentor is you get exposed to their circle. I'm very sure that there are some people you've got to know, Evangelist Gilbert, who are thanks to some mentors you have in your life.
yes.
So even if the person might not be pouring too much in you, because you see that person as having gone ahead in an area you're trying to do, you get close to the person. He becomes your mentor. You get into his inner circle. Now you're exposed to a wide group of people, and then you have more people to pull from, even if you don't have a mentor relationship with that person.
Yeah.
And also, it would also help you not to make some of the mistakes that those who have gone ahead of you have already made. Somebody said, it's best to learn from other people's mistakes than to learn from your own mistakes. Learning from your own mistakes is so painful. Like in this call you and I started, you were telling me, oh, you have this app that helps you to work. I'm saying, oh, you see, that's working experience, and that's the value of mentorship. My
Mm-hmm.
also there now in Cameroon or in US, I love what Evangelist Gilbert is doing, and I feel like I'm called what he's doing. One day he's also going to get old and phase out of this. He's going to be the next to fill this vacuum, and he looks up to you for mentorship. You wouldn't want him to go through all the hurdles you went through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fix. So mentorship helps you to go at a faster speed because you don't get to make the mistakes that your mentor has gone through.
Yeah. Wow. My goodness. I'm trying to capture all this as much as I can. Helps
So
you avoid mistakes and
benefit,
go at a faster pace. Yeah.
you can see that in that case you get to benefit from the mistakes of the.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we think when we're looking for a mentor, we're looking for a perfect person who got it all right. No, there
Mm-hmm.
are values to learn on what the person got right in his journey. And there are also values to learn, lessons to learn from what the person went wrong in their journey.
Yeah.
All the things you get from the mentor. He has failed, he has succeeded. And you can pull a lot of value from these two
Hmm.
of their life.
Yeah. Sounds there like something that has to do with how to find the right one. It sounds like a tip right there. Someone who has had some failures. That's a powerful one. Yeah. Okay. I think you started touching on the next thing I wanted to find out from you. I want to know, do you have a mentor, and are you comfortable mentioning any names amongst the one you have? And then we can find out what made you know this is the right one, and that could be our answer to how to find the right one today. So,
Okay.
want to mention
Yeah,
who
yeah,
was
sure.
who?
I have a mentor, and I've had lots of mentors in my life, right? There was a point in my life when I just discovered I was called. I felt the calling of God upon my life, but didn't know what I was really called for, right? And I had mentors at that time. And my biggest mentor at that time was my pastor, right? I just feel the call, and he's the closest person I see to me who is involved in the calling. And so he's my mentor. It was my mentor, Pastor Reverend Moa Sylvester. As time goes on, I begin to actually identify, get now more glimpse of what I'm really called to do. I'm now into music, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
I get also mentors in the direction, right? And
Yeah.
I move on from that phase in life into other life right now, where I feel God is carrying me towards is more of educating not just the church, but also being able to give value to everybody out there to see that there is a lot that you can get from the church than just the scripture. I always used to say this: Joseph made a name in Egypt not because he laid hands, he preached the gospel, he evangelized. It's because he was able to predict a famine was coming, and he helped the country to manage their resources. That during famine, they were able to sustain themselves, and that's what you could see that evangelizes God very well. So with
Mm-hmm.
that direction that my life is going towards right now, I lean more towards Dr. Madison as my mentor because he is a bona fide born again. He is a man of God. But if you see what he's doing right now, he is into leadership. He's giving to the world, not just like let's preach the gospel and all of that, but he's impacting the world through many other resources. And then when you get close to him, you realize that, oh, he's the man of God. He's a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
oh, there's such excellence can come from the church. So at this point in my journey, my mentor is Dr. Madison Gafferson. That's who I say my mentor is for right now. Informal mentorship.
Yeah. Man of God, we have a question. There's a bunch of people here. Minister Regina, thanks for joining. Everyone else. Jerry's Taylor. Do you see this the question popping up on our screen? I don't think. No.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Is mentorship a lifelong relationship?
Yes, that's from Jerry Taylor there. Yes.
No, I don't think
Okay.
mentorship is a lifelong relationship. It could be, depending on what your relationship with the person is. Just like I was explaining, we go through different seasons and stages in life. And at different stages in our life, we need different mentors. Now, I would presume, for example, I have two great men of God I always reference, uh, T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and Dr. Miles Mono. I listened to their story. These two men of God began as worship leaders. At
Hmm.
some point in their journey, God said, okay, I'm done on that aspect of your life. I need you to get into a different page. And they went into pastoral. I
Wow.
don't think the same mentor that he had when they were worship ministers is the same mentors that he carried when they became pastors.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not a lifelong relationship. You are in a
Yeah.
particular season, you need to equip yourself in a particular aspect at the time, and you can have that mentor. And when you're off that phase, that mentor can fade away and a different mentor comes.
Yeah. Man of God, I have a follow up to the question that we got from I don't remember the name, Jerry's. Uh, you've clearly said mentorship is not a lifelong relationship. Good. And I think you've explained very well, which makes sense. The other thing I want to find out is how do you transition from that phase, right? Because there are people that when they want to end mentorship with a particular mentor, it becomes like a problem because the expectation of the mentor was, I'm going to be there forever or for long. And then you feel like this is a new phase I'm transitioning to. How do you switch? Do you just cut them off? And sometimes, even if you try to do it as calm, as politely as possible, it often goes around like, okay, he has changed level. Now he has dropped me or something. I'm saying this out of experience.
I get exactly
Yeah.
what you're
He
saying.
has gone higher. Now I'm no longer useful, but it may just be a different phase.
Yeah.
So, how do you avoid those frictions? Sometimes it could also be from maybe you got a naive mentor, because I think the mentor should understand that phases and seasons change. But talk to us on that. Is that something that is common, friction between switching to a different mentor, and how peaceful, how possible is it for you to make it as peaceful as possible? And do you cut off completely or you still kind of like just keep this relationship? Yeah.
Before I answer that question, I want to bring a difference between two things that, especially in the Christian community, we mix them up together.
Okay.
There's a difference between a spiritual father and a mentor. A spiritual father, his focus is on your spiritual life. And when you're looking for a spiritual father, you are looking for something else. You're looking at the spiritual life of the person.
Hmm.
A spiritual father is an extension of what we grew up knowing as a godfather or a godmother. So that person kind of goes with you for a longer journey. Now, a mentor, on the other hand, is someone who is specifically trying to build you up in a particular aspect of your life. I can have a real estate mentor who is a failure in his marriage, who is an
Hmm.
alcoholic. And I wouldn't bother about that because the focus
Hmm.
of my relationship with this real estate mentor is for him to mentor me to become an outstanding real estate engineer or
Yeah.
real estate agent.
Agent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that first of all we differentiate that those two things together. First of all, now, secondly, the reason why we have this issue of the mentor leaving is because we don't have expectations in the mentorship in the beginning. Like I said, it's a relation
Okay.
for a particular purpose. So at the beginning of that relationship, we did not define a goal. Before coming to this, I didn't rely just on my knowledge. I listened to other, like, which is what is ethical, to other people who have talked about this topic. And when somebody walks up to them and said, "Can you be my mentor?" The question is, "For what? What do you need me to be your mentor for?"
Yeah.
be a specific purpose around the mentorship and specific growth expectations that when you up to this growth expectation, there's a reason for you to move on. But we don't have expectations, the problem. Now, the most traditional form of mentorship that we all saw growing up is what we mostly saw from the Igbos, where they'll have a young boy,
The apprenticeship, yes.
particular trade of life,
Great, yes.
serve this master for 7 years.
Oh,
That
yes,
clear
yes.
expectation that after 7 years, the master is going to settle this guy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this
Oh,
guy
yeah.
will go on to also open the same business that he has. But when we get into mentorship relationship without these expectations established, then they become a problem. And
Yeah.
sometimes what we call mentorship relationship was never ever defined in the beginning. In the beginning. Now let this, and I'll say this from experience. What is in most people's heads when they think about the question you ask is, and this is what it typically happens, at least it's just from a Christian perspective. I join a church and I'm serving in the church and I'm close to the man of God and I'm doing everything I'm doing. It wasn't clearly noted that it was a mentorship relationship. I just joined the church. So at a certain point when I need to move on, then there seems to be a friction. Now, was that really your mentor or was that just your pastor? But however, I think there still has to be communication when you're severing that relationship. Sometimes it doesn't go well. Sometimes you manage it as best as you can, and it will still not go well.
Yeah.
Jake's talked about. I've listened to this post story, and even Miles Moore talked about it. That when they were trying to move on from worship and become pastors, like, Brother Jakes, what are you doing? See how you sing here, and the Holy Ghost comes up. The place is filled. This is who you are. That's we don't think that's who you are. You are even a stammerer. And so even your mentor might not believe that. You're going
Hmm.
out to open a church. And sometimes there might have to be a little friction with your mentor sometimes. And we need to understand that the mentor is not there to make you a clone of himself. The mentor is there to make you to become the best of who you are.
Oh, my God. Powerful. Love it.
You
My
guys have
God.
similar callings or similar direction. There's a
Hmm.
uniqueness of a person. So I don't know if that answers the question.
It does, but you got to keep talking because I need to write this statement down. I can't leave it. I cannot leave. This is gonna be a quote during the week. My God, the mentor is
So
not there to make you a clone of himself. He's
yeah,
supposed to make you the best of yourself.
of who
Yes,
you are.
my
You,
God.
you
Ooh.
will have definitely have similarities, and that's what drew you to that mentor. But you both of you are not exactly the same person. You will
Hmm.
not preach the same. You will not pray the same. You will not build the same kind of church that they've built. And so
Hmm.
he has to recognize that uniqueness. And if it's truly a mentorship relationship, you were not coming to be part of the person's vision. You were coming, if you established in the beginning, you were coming to learn so you can go do what the mentor is doing. But sometimes we misunderstand that when a mentee comes, you've just simply gained one more follower to your vision and expectations were not set. That is the problem.
Yeah. So true. Same thing. Jerry's is reiterating there. Yes, from what you said, expectations, boundaries, objectives, goals. Absolutely, from the beginning, all of that must be clear. Powerful. This is so good. This is so good. Man of God, let's push this further with the part two of the question of who your mentor was. You mentioned that. How do you know that this person is the right mentor?
Okay. So how do you know that someone is the right mentor for you? First of all, the work begins with you. You must, first of all, need to know what your vision is, number one. And not just your entire vision, because in that your vision, you might need mentorship in just a particular area of that vision. Maybe you've been called by God to be an overseer and open a church. And so, like I said, you might be looking for a mentor to specifically groom you on administration, church growth, and all of that. So you must first of all identify what is my vision? What do I need mentorship for? So that's how I get to know that first. Do I know what I want? Then what do I need a mentorship for? Then now the next thing is now that mentor, is he involved in what I am aiming at?
Okay.
I cannot be trying to be a lawyer and my mentor is a teacher. It doesn't work.
Hmm.
So the person is into what you were doing. That's how one of the things that make me identify Dr. Madison as a someone who can be a mentor to me, because what he is doing is what I think God is driving me towards, the data direction, not the same message, but towards a direction. That's the next thing. Then the third thing, how you know that before you identify this a person, because this also goes through the process of finding that they're interwoven, because you get to know, for you to know, you have to go through a process. The next thing is get closer to the person a little bit. Mentorship, like I said, is a relationship, just like every relationship. The same way you approach things to get your spouse, your wife, Evangelist Gilbert, is the same way you should approach getting a mentor. And the time and effort that you put into that process determines how effective the mentorship will be and will determine the longevity of the mentorship. So get closer to the mentor.
That's right.
Do you think this person can make it good? Does it have the
Hmm.
characteristics of a good mentor? Now, not everybody who is excellent in an area can make a good mentor. I can be an excellent soccer
Hmm.
player, but I might not make a good mentor. I'm very skillful. I know how to do it. I just do it. I don't know how to coach you to do it. So get closer to the person. What are some qualities you're looking for?
Yeah.
Is he have time for you? Do you think he's polite enough for you? Are you okay with his personality? Just get to know the person. Are there some things that will deter you? Because the problem that we face is that especially in the Christian community, that we spiritualize everything.
Yeah.
And
And we
the
only
other thing
look at
is
the
that
glory on the
correct,
stage.
it doesn't necessarily have to be spiritualized. Because you got close to this person and one or two ministrations or another person, whatever, you felt some goosebumps. And then there you say, the Holy Spirit is confirming to me that this is my mentor. But you didn't calm down, bring your head down. You need to use your brain too and
Hmm.
look at these things, because now you go fully on spiritual. We've seen those things, and 2 months, 3 months, 1 year down the line, you're leaving for some flimsy excuse. So where is that Holy Spirit who confirmed that mentor to you in the beginning?
Yeah.
So we should be careful how we put these things under the Holy Spirit, go through the process. Does this person have what you're looking for? Right? And then does a person want to mentor you? Because it's a two-way street, right? Are you able to reach this person when this person needs you? And then based on that, you cannot establish a mentorship relationship. And that's how you know if the right mentor
Hmm.
for you, right? I'm sure you and Pastor PGL, I always his name was it's exactly what was by my head.
Yes.
That was a product of a relationship, and there are many boxes you looked at, not just a
Yes.
teacher. You look at his personality, you look at his marriage life, you look at many things that were important to you,
Hmm.
and that was it. But number one is you need to have your goals, your vision. The person must be involved in what you are involved in. The person is ahead of you in that. Get closer to the person. Look at personalities and look at is the person available. Look at all those other little things, and then at that point, you can now even ask the person like, "Can you be my mentor?" At that time, you most likely get a yes. If you met your wife on the first day and said, on the very first day, I just said, "Can you be my wife?" You probably have it no, not because you're the wrong husband for her.
Yes.
Most likely.
That's right. That's right. Oh, wow. Powerful, powerful. Great, great. We've seen here how we can identify a mentor. Great points indeed, man of God. Thank you so much. A quick question to follow up with these. Must it be the mentee identifying a mentor, or are there situations where a mentor can look at someone and say, "Hey," and walk up to you and say, "I want to mentor you"? Is that even possible? Can that happen? Can a mentor pick a mentee, or is it only from bottom up?
A mentor can pick a mentee. And the
Okay,
problem now is the approach on how you do it and why are you trying to do that. So a
okay,
mentee can pick up a mentor and a mentor can also pick up a mentee. Now, in two perspectives. Now, number one, if you're dealing with formal mentorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, the mentor reaches out to the mentee. I've had tons of people who've reached out to me professionally. Hey, I saw you are new into this business. I saw your name pop up. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, we run a mentorship program, a 1 year mentorship program, a 6 months mentorship program. We can help you to mentor you through this. So, from a formal perspective, I've seen that happen, right? So a mentor reaches out to a mentee and brings them under their mentorship. Even at an informal level, um, I was listening to someone who said most mentors will give you mentorship informally, asking nothing from you back in response. What they want is for you to be able to pass on what they have given to you or what they've done to you to other people, even if they haven't asked for it. So how that might look, it could be we all have been in this country for a long time, right? And you saw a young man who just came to the United States, maybe with his wife. They attend the same church with you. You see how he works so hard. He's doing the best to be the great father, trying to see flock himself into a career. And you can just walk up to him, from the point of helping him and say, hey, brother Desmond, how are you? Man, I see how much of a hardworking guy you are. I see the great things you're doing and try to establish yourself in this country and hustling. Man, you're doing a great job. Do you have a time we can get some coffee? Or you can come to the house one day. Let's just sit and chat. Let me just know what's going on. And then that comes from a desire to help, mentor that
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to tell the person I want to mentor you. You can just have that conversation and you keep having those conversations. And before you know, a mentorship relationship has been created. Right. And it was never you never specifically reaching out to the person and saying that, hey, can you be my mentee? Right. And the person will reference to you that Evangelist Gilbert is my mentor. But it was never ever that direct, can I be your mentor? Can you be my mentee? So
Yeah.
a mentor can reach out to a mentee. And I think we should do that as Christians. We
Yeah.
have learned through a lot in this country. We've gone to make a lot of mistakes. We've made a lot of successes. And those coming after us deserve to learn from our mistakes and learn from our successes. We don't necessarily have to bring them under us. Like we don't necessarily have to make it. Just reach out, and that's how you form it. And know that that doesn't make you a lord over the person. The person still has the will to not take your advice and think they can do it differently. So yes, it's a
Mm-hmm.
mentor reach out to a mentee.
Okay. Powerful. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, indeed. Great contributions and reactions there. Thank you so much, man of God. The next thing I really want to hear from you is something that is really, really, really concerning and very, 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 very concerning with the aspect of mentorship, which is the element of people shying away from mentorship because of various reasons. And sometimes the most common of these many reasons why people shy away from mentorship is the element of control. Control. You've kind of just you've lost your own essence. It's just control and control. You cannot have a freedom of your own. You cannot. And as a beloved brother, he's just I see that a lot with him. But to some extent he enjoys it, right? But to some people that would be a total deterrent. And I think that I say he enjoys it. I think that's seasonal because I don't think control will last forever, right?
Huh?
He would probably just enjoy it for a while and then get to a point he said, I'm fed up
Mm-hmm.
with this, right? So the element of control is what makes many people shy away from mentorship. You get to submit to someone, can you be my mentor? Then they just take it as an opportunity to lord it over you, as Jesus says, lord it over the people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what makes people have this tendency? Is it that the mentor is naive, or is it the way he was also mentored? What makes people to have this tendency of someone submits to you and then you become lord over them, controlling their schedule? You can go here, you cannot go here. No, no, no. Everything is just control. And what red flags? Maybe that's too many questions in one, but what red flags can we look for? Can we see red flags of this kind of people and avoid them? So first of all, what makes people enjoy lording it over their mentees, and what red flags can we look for?
Yeah, so I think what makes mentors lord over their mentees? Again, some of them is the way they were mentored. Some people,
Mm.
some people thought because the way you were mentored is your mentor was a hard person. Hey, go bring that. Go do this. Go do that. And you had the personality that was receptive to that. It doesn't mean
Mm.
that that was the right way to do it, and doesn't mean that that's how you're going to execute mentorship to your mentees. And you hear such people always quoted, when I was with my mentor, this is what he did. No, some people do that because that's the way they receive mentorship and they had the personality to receive that. Um, by the grace of God, of having been a scrum master and interacted with different people, one of the things I learned was that you have to treat people differently to treat them equally. So you might even mentoring different persons, multiple persons. You have to understand that they have different personalities, and the way this person receives it is not the way this person is going to receive it. So understand the personality of your mentee and provide mentorship in a way that your mentee can happily receive that mentorship. So number one is how these people received mentorship in the first.
Yeah.
The second thing, and this is mostly common from our African descent, we have the wrong perception of leadership. We think
Mm.
who is above is a lord over the person who is below. And that's not even what our Master Jesus taught us.
Yeah.
Leadership is a servant to the people that they are leading. And so we make that mistakes. And I see this also emphasized even with the fathers of faith. We have overemphasized the authority of pastors and all of that. And it seems like it's only the pews that have to respect the pastor. The pastor also has to respect the pew. That's God's bride.
That's good.
We
Yeah.
have a perception of what leadership is. At work, we see this. I have my boss. He's not an African. But even when I mess up, that times I know I've messed up. Oh my God, I know my boss is not going to be happy with me. But the way he's going to come and talk to me about one time I knew I really messed up on a deal. Then my boss called me and started asking me about how did the holidays go? How was the New Year? How was the Christmas? What did you do for fun? He diffused it and he addressed the issue with me as though it was a non-issue. So again, it's also because we have the wrong perception of what leadership is, what it means to
Yeah.
lead somebody. So I think that's one of the issues. Now, on the other side of the red flags and stuff like that, this goes back to following a process and investing time and investing effort before you make somebody your mentor in choosing a mentor. Because a lot of these red flags, these attitudes that we get to see where we are in a mentorship relationship with this person
Mm.
have been spotted before we got into that relationship. That's why
Yeah.
whenever you think somebody can be your mentor, don't just go and say, can you be my mentor? Find out, get closer to them. Maybe it's a mentor in business and he does some seminars. Pay and attend his seminars. Ask to volunteer. Walk around this person. If the person has a church, you must not necessarily be the member of the church and you're not looking forward to moving to that church. Go for some other programs. Can I volunteer? Whatever you can do to get closer to this person. It's a relationship like any other relationship. Stick around a little bit. It's like you having a wife or having a husband. You don't just make that relationship just because you like the person. Get closer. Is this a personality I can put up with? This is the person's style of talking. He shouts, and all of this. Are these kind of things that I can take? And if you don't feel like that's what you can take, it's okay. Move on and look for another mentor.
Yeah.
Instead of like you don't have a mentor while you're looking for a mentor, it's okay than rushing and getting into a mentorship relationship that is not working for you. And if the mentorship relationship is not working for you, you can move on.
That's the next thing I was going to ask. What if you start seeing some red flags and you got in, you thought you got it right, and then now you're in there a few months and two second month, and then you start seeing control, some things you never saw, maybe you didn't check right or some things were covered, You just said it there. So tell us, can you abort a mentorship process? you know?
Definitely, the mentorship relationship has to end. And how you end it, there is no one direct answer. It all depends on what that meant, the details of that mentorship relationship. So it's not like there is a 5 bullet point that will apply to all situations, right? If it's a distant mentorship, and each time you get on the phone with this person, he yells at you or something, and you don't like that, let it fade. Just let the mentorship relationship fade by
Hmm.
reducing the number of time you're reaching out. You know, gradually it would fade. But where it becomes a little bit more challenging is if you are maybe serving under the person's business while you are learning. Maybe you somebody has a real estate company, and then you want to aspire to become that, and so now you're serving under the person, or maybe it's a pastor and he's your mentor and you're serving in his church. That now become a little bit of a little complex. Now there has to be some protocols of the church you have to follow, some protocols in the business that you have to follow, and sometimes there's no way you do it perfectly. But if
Hmm.
it's not in that kind of a scenario, it's easy to just let it fade. There are people who have been my mentors in different seasons of life who are not my mentor again, but don't always, I still look at them as a father figure. But I didn't ever have a conversation that this mentorship relationship has to end. It faded. Lack of
Hmm.
communication, we're not communicating often and all of that, and it just faded, right?
Yeah.
But if you are maybe it's in a church scenario, you're gonna have to let your mentor know why, and it mustn't necessarily come across directly and saying that I want to end my mentorship relationship with you, right? It could
Hmm.
be that, you feel led to do something different, and so you share that vision with your mentor, right? And you guys talk about the exit route. And again, let's not look at it only from the angle of the mentee. Let's look at it from the angle of the mentor.
That's my next question right there.
You
Can the mentor also
know,
abort a mentorship relationship? Can they say this one is one headache that has come to me? Can they quit from their end and call you and as a mentee and say we're ending this? Let's
yeah.
talk from the mentor's perspective and what can cause that. Give us some examples of things that can cause a mentor to say to the mentee, "This is over."
Uh, Sometimes it's easier for the mentor to do that
Yeah.
because it will not appear to be disrespect when it's the mentor, the person up is saying that I think, this is over.
Mm.
And when the mentee does it to the mentor, it's more challenging because you are kind of submitting to the person, and it can easily cross the line of disrespect. But typically, when it happens, when the mentor is going to abort the mentee, it's like, hey, and if it's really objective and good mentorship, the mentor will tell the mentee, hey, I don't think you're putting in the effort that I expect. And I'm looking at this concept widely. I don't think you're putting the effort that I expect. The last time we met 2 weeks ago over coffee, we talked about these goals, and all of these things that you had to do. I gave you an assignment that you have to go and read this book and do this and do this. You came and you haven't done your homework. Your performance is mediocre. And I've seen this happening for the next 2, 3 months. I have a lot of things in my plate that I have to do, a lot of assignments, a lot of things, and a lot of people I have to focus on. And so I'm not seeing you putting on the effort. And if you're not putting in the effort I expect, this mentorship relationship has to end.
Hmm.
And if it continues that way, you can end it. And the mentorship relationship can reestablish itself later. But next time when the mentee is coming back, the mentee is coming back knowing that this mentor is up to work.
Hmm.
So a
Powerful.
mentor can end it that way. It could be that the young man, the mentee is disrespectful, is not subordinate, and you can say, tell the person clearly, I don't like the way you conduct yourself in this way or in this way or in this way. And so if this is not going to change, I'm sorry, this relationship is going to end. A mentor can come across that way. It's more easier for the mentor.
Mhm.
It's challenging for the mentee to do that. But now when I was saying that, look at it from the mentor's perspective, is that we also have to understand the pain of a mentor losing a mentee. Um, I have
Okay.
not been an overseer of a church before. God has never ever told me that's something I can do to go open a church. And if God ever tells me that I have to sit down on a table and really have a real long, not gonna be that I dreamt about. No, God, let's talk. But yes, what I've seen with friends who are doing who are into ministry, who are overseers. I've seen friends who they felt the call of God on their life, they agitated to move and they leave and they left and started their own church, for example, establishment or whatever the establishment is. And a couple of years down the line, some other person who was mentor to them has to leave.
Hmm.
Conversation because it's painful to the mentor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So also understand, even though the mentor might have some bad qualities that are not the best, but for a second, let's flip the switch and see how does the mentor feel in the serving of this relationship, and are there ways I can approach it with wisdom.
That's right.
But sometimes it never goes perfect, no matter how hard you try.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay. That's true. Great call out there. Absolutely. I think we have another question here. Does gender matter in mentorship? Is that something that should be considered?
I'll say 100% yes. And I
Okay.
mean, maybe some 5 years from now, I would not have said yes to that question. But again, as we live life, we see things, right? I think gender matters. I would always advocate for a man to mentor a man, a male to mentor a male,
Mm,
a female to mentor a female. But if it has to cross the other way that a male is mentoring a female, it shouldn't. It's for ethics purposes. You guys should not have one-on-one meetings alone. There should be another person. If you are the mentor and you are a male, and you have a female mentee in your sessions, have another male or another person needs to be there. Now, this goes to ethics, and these are some of the things, quite honestly, I have seen in Western churches that I've attended that I don't think we have that in the African church.
mm,
The African church, it just feels like it's okay for a leader or whoever to just go visit a sister in their house, to just have a counseling session when it's in the office anyhow. In Western churches, that doesn't happen.
mm.
That is going to happen with another person present, and the pastor or the leader doesn't go to the opposite sex house alone. You might be part of a life group or other group of brethren. If the leader, a pastor, whoever has to go there, you go with that group. But the
That's
best
right.
thing to be is let mothers mentor ladies and let fathers mentor sons. It also
Mm,
provides an avenue where, because even you as a mentor, you have to protect yourself,
yeah.
right? You don't want to put yourself in situations where a mentee of the opposite sex can create a story around you and
Yeah.
abuse her or you abuse him. And
Mm-hmm.
the story will stand true, and people might believe your mentee because you guys have met quite often alone, both of you together. So for ethics, not that it's completely wrong, but for ethics purposes, gender matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. I agree on that. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Great. Wow, man of God, what a great session we've had today. This has just been so good, so good, so good. Really, really rich on everything you've touched. I want to throw the ball to you at this time to say, hey, whatever I might have missed, whatever you have at the top of your heart there, just wrap it up for us with final words, and we can call it a day for today because this has really been good, really been good. So, any final words before we
Yes,
close?
my final word to everyone listening to me out there is that mentorship is it cannot be overemphasized. It's very, very, very important, even just for you to be a good human, just for you to navigate this life. Whether you have a vision or you don't have a vision, you need mentors. You need someone who can speak into your life. You need someone who can mentor you in many aspects. Being a mother, being a father, you need people who can speak into your life in that aspect. So It's very, very important to have a mentor. And if you don't have a mentor right now, you are not alone. There are many people, so there's a majority of people don't have mentors. But I would encourage you to have a mentor and be beyond just a life mentor to navigate the things in life. I believe everybody in this life should be living a life with a vision. You cannot just live a life where you go to work, you make money, you pay bills, you raise your children, you die. You should have something additional that you want to contribute to this world. And if you have something additional to contribute to this world, then you would need a mentor to be able to help you, in the direction. And the mentor must not be someone who has always got it right. It can be someone who has also gotten it wrong, but they have learned from it. So mentorship is very, very, very important because we don't pay for mentorship or we don't get into mentorship. We make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes it has to be paid mentorship, right? We get into business and our businesses collapse very quickly because we didn't see the value of a mentor. We didn't want to pay for mentorship, right? So it's very, 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 very important. Mentorship cannot be, overemphasized. So if you don't have one, I encourage you to have one, but go through the process, do your due diligence to make sure that that's a good mentor for you. And it goes on the both ways. If you are out there, you've gone through lots of things in life, be open to mentor other people. There are benefits also to the mentor for having a mentee. It teaches them how to lead. It teaches them how to relate to the younger generation. So it's not always a benefit to the mentee. The mentor also benefits from a mentorship relationship.
Mm.
And if you are in an informal mentorship relationship, don't make it be a one-sided thing, which is all about what can I get from you, the mentor. What can you also give to the mentor? People pay for mentorship. So if you have an informal mentor, how what can you give to the mentor? Not necessarily in cash. You can serve them. What can I do for you? How can I help? They have a program, just volunteer your service that encourages the mentor to pour in more to you. So
Yeah.
those are the last words I have for anyone listening out there.
Powerful, powerful. Great, great, great. Thank you so much, man of God. And this is really a great one today. My whole page here is filled. I've never written this much. So much I could not even capture it that you've blessed us today with. And thank you for your time. This is a whole hour to sit down with a coach, an hour or this, go find out how much it costs. So we are blessed to have you really, really come talk to us today. Thank you so much. And God bless you. And we hope to have this again some other time. And we are grateful to you so sincerely.
It's
Yes.
been a privilege. Thank you so much, Evangelist Gilbert. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you. And I'll let you go for right now. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye.
All right, my God, ladies and gentlemen, what a great time we've had tonight with our guest for today. Great, great session, great one, and of course, thanks to every one of you that has joined. It's been an amazing, amazing session today. I got a few notes here of the things we discussed, just to give us a quick summary right here. We started by asking what is mentorship, and he said mentorship is a relationship that. That has a specific purpose, right? Mentorship is a relationship that has a specific purpose. Uh, and sometimes it could be formal, other times it could be informal. He also said mentorship cuts across all aspects of life. You could have a mentor for career, you could have a mentor for marriage, you could have a mentor for many, many other areas. So, mentorship, you could have multiple mentors that are just taking care of different areas of your life. Benefits of mentorship, the guest said accountability. That's the first thing. Mentorship brings accountability to your life. You're more focused and not just lose and do what you want. You're more focused and you're accountable when you have a mentor. And then he says a mentor is one who can tell you when you are going astray. He's able to tell you you are wrong here, you were right here, and that can guide your life to good paths. He says you are exposed to a higher network of people you might have never you probably would never have met. If you have a mentor, you get exposed to people that in a higher network that you could have never met by yourself because of the connection of the mentor. He says it helps you avoid mistakes, and you get a lot faster. You go on a faster pace because the mistakes that your mentor made, you learn from them and you go faster in life. He went on to mention that his mentor is Dr. Professor Madison Gafferson, and talk to us quite a little bit about how to find the right one. He says mentorship is not just something you get into by excitement. You have to first of all come up with your expectations, what you want to follow and what you want to achieve, and then you look forward to that. He also mentioned that mentorship is not a lifelong relationship. There are seasons in your life where you want a mentor for just a season in one element, and then you progress to something else. So there are seasonal moments where you may need a mentor for that season. Then he says, don't mix who a mentor is with who a spiritual father is, because the two are not the same. The mentor is not there to make you a clone of himself, but rather he's out to make you the best of who you are. So great, great statements right there. He also went on to say that how to know the right mentor. He says the first thing is that you have to be clear with your goals and your vision. When you have them clear, then you start searching to see who is walking in that path of your goal and your vision. And when you find someone who is in the same profession or line of your vision, then the next thing is not to immediately say, be my mentor. The next step is to get closer to that person, know them more personally, know them on a personal basis, you know, because what you see on stage may not be what is happening off stage. Get to know them personally, know their personality, know their temperaments. And this could be some areas that you may say, well, this is a great person on stage, but not a great person off stage. And you move on to look for someone else. He also said a mentor can also identify a mentee. So mentorship is not only identified by the mentee, the mentor can also identify someone that has some great potentials and walks up to them and decides to help them and mentor them. He says, but oftentimes they will not just walk up to you and say, I want to mentor you. They will come in a different approach, love, care, just looking after you. And then before you know it, you're the one calling them your mentor because they came with a caring and just looking after you to develop you. He also went on to say before you tell someone to be your mentor, it's always advisable to get closer to them and stick around a little bit and observe before you decide. Because the mistakes we make and oftentimes the red flags that we miss is because we did not observe and study the person for a little bit. We rushed into them and then we realized that, oh, there are some red flags that I missed. And then you're out of that mentorship in a few months, which is not the best. He says, if you do see red flags in the mentorship relationship that has started, and you see some red flags, he says you have the freedom to leave because that is not going to be a healthy relationship. And then you politely walk out of it. The mentor can also end a mentorship relationship. You know, they can also see some red flags in the mentee and they say, this is a waste of my time. And he says, for example, especially if they don't see commitment, you're given assignments, you don't do them, you're asked to do certain things, you don't do them, then it's a waste of their time and they just walk away. He also went on to say, it is very advisable that a male mentor should mentor males and a female mentor should mentor females for many reasons, and including reasons that it may be innocent, and they bring you into a situation of accusing you of things, and that way you would have yourself to blame. But gender should be a great consideration when it comes to mentorship. And then he wrapped up by saying that mentorship is highly needed, not just for a few or selected people, but for anyone who wants to make impact around the world. Mentorship is highly needed. And then the last statement tonight was that you know, uh, if you got life's experience, if you've gone through life's experience and have many things that you've learned from life, those things are not just for you to keep them to yourself. Find someone, teach them, mentor them, because those experiences you learned were not just for you, they're for you to make the next person better. So, guys, this is just a tip, a gist of what we had this evening. The best you can do for yourself is watch this entire interview, and you would be glad you did. So much that we have shared tonight, and I'm trusting that you would go through it and enjoy yourself, and share this with someone. Share this with someone. Share it on your page. You're spreading the word and blessing people as well. Thank you so much, and God bless you for being a part of this session today. Sister Benedict, of course, Deaconess Benedict from Maryland, Samuel, man, everybody else who is here. Thank you. God bless you. And we see you again next Monday for another session of Empowerment Hour. God bless you and goodbye.